Is it visible to you?
No, ma'am.
Not visible. I have enabled the sharing.
Showing you have started sharing, but it is not visible. Okay, ma'am, it's now visible.
One second. Right. So from week one,
Ma'am, can we get this PDF?
yeah, I'll share after the class.
Okay.
Okay. So from week one, the weightage is comparatively lower than the weeks 2, 3, and 4. So we don't have a lot of questions that might come from this week one, right? Because it's mostly theoretical. So there will be one or two questions. I'll show you what type of question will be there. Okay. Everyone can read the PDF. Is it big enough? This is okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So first thing is, what is a variable, right? These are the things that we learned in week one. So just doing a quick recap. So variable is what? It is a symbol which is used to represent a varying expression or quantity. So basically all the variables that we have used. So now you all are acquainted because we have seen so many codes. So variable is where we assign some value, where we on which we do arithmetic operations, right? So all of them are variables only. Example, if you want to count the number of cards, right? So we have to initialize a variable called count, which is initially 0, and then we add one to count every time we read a card. Count is a variable. Similarly, what is an iteration? So any repetition of a block of code is an iteration, right? So now you know what is a for each block of code. So for each means we will continue the iterations, right, until there are no more cards left. Or a while. A while loop is also an example of iteration only. So while there are more cards in your file one, you repeat the same block of code. So each repetition is an iteration. So repetition of a process, or you can say iteration is the repetition of a process in order to generate a sequence of outcomes. Like if you want to find the maximum marks in the scores data set for a particular subject. So you have to go through all of the cards and do the comparison, right? So what is the desired outcome? So that will be regarding whatever is given in your question. Again, what is filtering? So filtering concept, we learned that if we, let's say, want to find the maximum marks in mathematics, right? So first we know how to find maximum marks in the entire data set. So we have to compare every student's marks, right? But now I can also add some conditions on top of it. So whenever you make a specific decision or issue a specific condition, that is called filtering, because you're filtering out some part of the entire result. So like now if I say I want to find maximum marks, but just for the girls, then I have to filter using the gender attribute, right? So that is filtering. Again, we have multiple filtering also. So you can filter based on, let's say, that same problem. So I want to find maximum marks, but only among girls. And then I can put another filter, let's say only among girls who are from Delhi. Right. So I can specify a city or town also. So multiple, as many filters as you want, you can put on it. Then next is the flow chart that we learned. So this is a bit important. So
Excuse
from
me,
week
ma'am.
one, yeah.
For the multiple filtering, will that happen in the same iteration or in multiple iterations?
No, in same iteration, you can put multiple if statements, right? Or even in a single if statement, you can join using the AND clause or the OR clause.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So this is important. Flowchart is important with respect to questions. So you might get a flowchart question that is almost there every year. So remember what are the different boxes like arrows, diamond box, oval shaped box, what each of these mean, right? All the different notations. So flowchart is nothing but it is the pictorial representation of any algorithm, right? But flowchart is definitely not very convenient when your code grows in size. So for small codes, this is okay. So what does a rectangular box represent? It means process or activity box. That means whenever you want to do some kind of data processing, let's say you want to add something, any kind of arithmetic operations, or you want to assign some value to a variable. So all of that is done inside the process or activity box, which is a rectangle, right? Process box. So we have seen that when we start or end a flowchart, we have to use two extra boxes, right? One for the start, one for the end. So that is usually not there in your pseudocode, but in flowchart it will be present. Those are terminal boxes, right? Then your arrow obviously just represents the control flow of the program. So let's say you have a decision box, then there are like this. If this is a decision box, so there are two arrows coming out of it, right? One for the yes answer, one for the no answer. So based on whatever the decision you're taking here, you will accordingly go to the control. I mean, the control will accordingly shift to whichever hand is required. So let's say you're comparing some values, right? And the comparison is giving a correct answer. That means, yeah, X and Y have the same value. Then you will go to the yes arm. If they have different values, you'll go to the no arm. So obviously, arrow just shows the control flow. Diamond box is the decision box itself. That means wherever you need to ask some question, you need to make a decision that which path to take, which direction to go. So then you use this diamond box, right? Decision box. And one more is the oval shaped box. So that is the terminal. So the terminal is just two boxes, one for the start, one for the end. Those are oval shaped boxes. So these are the only four kinds of notations in flowchart we'll use. But yeah, flowchart problems are important for quiz one. Okay, then we learn data types in week one, right? So data types are what? It defines the values that a variable can take or the set of operations that can be performed on a particular variable. So what are the different data types we learned? The basic ones. First, Boolean data type. So Boolean has only two values, right? True or false. What kind of operation you can perform? You cannot perform arithmetic operations on Boolean variables, right? So you can perform and or operations. That means whatever you can perform, that will give a value true or false, right? So result should also be Boolean. Like if you say that, let's say for that example that we are talking about, that I want to find the maximum mathematics marks for all boys who are from Chennai. So then you can write an if statement, a filtering statement like this, that if X gender is equal to M, so this is comparison operator, and X dot city town is equal to Chennai. So if both are correct, so this is also going to generate a true or false result, this comparison. This comparison will also generate a true or false result. Then accordingly you do the and or operation. So you know the truth table that for and the only time it will give true value is when both conditions are true. And for or the only time it will give false value is when both conditions are false. Right. So Boolean is pretty straightforward. Again, we have integer data type. Integer data type can take range from negative infinity to positive infinity, including 0. So since these are numbers, right? So you can obviously perform any arithmetic operation you want, any Boolean comparison operation you want. So whenever we perform arithmetic operations, the result that is being generated should also be of integer data type, or it can be a float data type also, right? Again, when you are doing comparison operation like greater than, less than, or exactly equal to, so at that time the result will be what? Boolean type, because the answer is what? The question you're asking is that is something greater than some other value. So either it is a true answer or it is a false answer. So it will always be
Excuse me,
Boolean.
ma'am. Ma'am, what
Yeah.
are float data types?
Float is when the decimal point comes, right?
Okay.
So float is usually we don't use in CT, but yeah, it's an important data type. So later on in Python course, you might be using it. Okay. So character data type is another one we learned. So any alphanumeric characters, special characters, they all come under character data type. So alphanumeric, when I say, so we take both uppercase, lowercase letters, 0 to 9, all integers, right? All numbers and special characters. So the only type of operation that we perform with character data type is this comparison. That is, we can do string matching like this. We can pick one character and match with some other character in a string, right? So let's say if you want to count that, let's say I give you a word and I tell you that you have to count the number of A's present in it, right? So then you have to pick out every character from that string and you have to compare. Let's say some character X, you have to check whether it is exactly equal to A. So this comparison you can do. This is the only type of operation that we can do on character type variables, and it will obviously give a Boolean result. Okay, so these are three basic ones. Another one is string, obviously. So string is any sequence of characters. So whenever you go more than one characters, so then you cannot use a cat type of variable, right? And that means for your name or let's say your roll number, whatever it is, whatever exceeds a single character will come into a string. So strings are always within quotations, right? Again, the only operation that you can do here also is double equal to, that is comparison operator. So you can compare two strings whether they're exactly the same or not. So four basic types of data types. So integer, character, string, Boolean. Okay. There are other data types, but in scope of CT, learning these four is enough. Now, what are the subtypes that we learned? So subtypes are basically derived data types, right? That means data types that you are deriving from the original data types. So when I said that sequence number is a subtype, that means sequence number in our scores data set, for example, the cards have sequence numbers, but they range. They have a particular range, right? So I can have 0 to 29. If I have 30 cards in my data set, each sequence number is unique, right? Then I can go from 0 to 29, 30 unique numbers. So that is what? That is a subset of integer data type only. These fall under integer only, but since it is derived from integer, so it is a subtype. Right, so sequence number is the subtype. Again, marks, same, the range is from 0 to 100, but 0 to 100 is the, what is the parent data type? Integer. So the operations remain same. So whatever operations you perform on integer data type, the same thing you can perform on these subtypes, which are derived from integer data type. So any arithmetic operation, comparison operation you can do. Subtypes are also not asked as questions, but you should know what they are, right? So again, you saw transformation of sub data types like date. So date is what it is, a string data type. Like if I say 15 Jan, so it has both alphabets and numeric value. So this is a string. So what will be the date after 3 days? So we saw that we can enumerate like this. So first Jan is the 0th day, second Jan is the first day, third Jan is the second day. Like that, if I say third Jan is the second day. So after 3 more days, what should be the date? So you just add 3. So what will be the fifth day? 6th Jan, right? These things are not going to be there in the exam, but just theoretically you should know.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, is sequence number a subtype of integer?
Sequence number is subtype of integer.
But why the integer operations does not make any sense?
Yeah,
in that?
I mean, you can do, but it does not have any meaningful result, right? That's what I'm saying. I mean, the scope is there. You can do whatever operations you're doing in integer variables, you can do the same because the data type is derived from that only. So it is plausible, but it does not generate any meaningful data in this case. Sequence number, what will you get by adding two sequence numbers? Nothing. So the better thing to do here is you can maybe match two sequence numbers, right? So comparison you can do.
Okay.
Excuse me, can you please explain the transformation of sub data types again?
Yeah, see, this thing is just like this is a subdata type, right? Date is a subdata type. So
Yes.
what type of a subtype is this? This is a string only, because if I write 15 Jan, so it has both alphanumeric characters. So this is a string, right? But I can enumerate it like this, that first Jan, I assign it as the 0th day. Second Jan, I assign it as the first day. Third Jan is the second day, like it is given here, right? This thing I can do. So let's say I have this, the third Jan is the second day of the year. Now, I want to know what will be the date after 3 days. So in that case, you can just add here. So what is the fifth day? 6th Jan. So you can just add 3 on both sides and find out. It's very, I mean, it's nothing calculative, right? Anyone can do this. This is just basic enumeration. Again,
Yes,
see,
yes.
If 15 Jan means the 14th day. So obviously 18 Jan will be the 17th day, right? That means what am I doing? I want to find out the date since I already have the days assigned here. All 365 days or whatever, maybe 366 days if it is a leap year, all of them are assigned a particular number. Like 1st Jan is the 0th day. 31st December is the 364th day, right? So if I know that 14th day is 15 Jan and 17th day is what? 18 Jan. That's it. Again, see this thing, marks. If I want to talk about marks, so marks we have seen in our data set, maybe marks are not given in decimal, right? In scores data set, you won't find that. But in real life, we get marks like this 80.5, 90.5. It can be like this. So we want to add the above two subject marks. So when we do this addition, it cannot be a simple addition, right? Because there is a decimal part. So I have to take care of that too. So decimal means what? If I multiply by 100, I'll get the actual value in, like if I say in terms of rupees, right? If I say rupees 80.5, then multiplying it by 100 will give what? 8050 paisa, right? Because 1 rupees is 100 paisa. That same method acts here also. So to remove the decimal, what do we do? Multiply by 100. So if it is 80.5, then multiply by 100 to remove the decimal first 8050. Then you perform the addition and then you can again bring back the decimal point. Just like simple decimal multiplication addition you have learned. Right. So after that, you need to bring back the original form by using print. So print does what? Whenever we want to print something. Like here, if you want to print the 17th day, what is that? 18 Jan. It will print 18 Jan. Similarly, after you have done after you have performed the addition of these two marks, when you print this, it should print 171.00 because the actual thing should be in decimal, right? If the marks are there given in decimal, then your result should also be in decimal. So here is where the float data type comes in. So you cannot say that these are integers, these are float, right? These are floating point numbers. So integers can be changed. There is something called typecasting. Okay, so that you'll learn later on. So when you typecast something that is of integer type, let's say I have a variable x which is storing 80.5, which is storing, let's say, okay, some integer value. Okay, let's say 80, it is storing 80. And I want to typecast it to a floating point data type. Then it will show 80.0 or 80.00. Okay, so typecasting can be done. You can change from one data type to another data type, but that you don't have
So,
to know right now. Yeah.
So for creating an input, we need to create of same data type, right?
Same data type. So whatever your data type is of the operands, right? The result should be of the same data type.
Ma'am, here can we also multiply with 10 instead of 100?
It is better to multiply with 100. Why? Because we always take two places after decimal. So 80.5 basically means 80.50.
Okay.
Okay.
Because there is only one digit, so
Yeah,
I was
here
thinking.
it is given. Yeah. So this is automatically taken as 80.50 when you write 80.5, but it can be 80.56 also. So it is better to always have multiplication with 100.
Okay, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am. We are doing this conversion because it is in the integer data set, right? So if you were to write, like for example, float mark is equal to 80.5,
Right.
we would not need to
No,
multiply by 100,
because
right?
float can handle decimal points. Since we only have integers, so we have to convert first.
Thank you,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
if there are three digits after decimal, then multiplied with 10,000 would be more better.
So do we usually use 3 digits after decimal when it comes to marks? In
Oh,
marks,
yes,
what is
ma'am.
the, it is
Yes.
from 0 to 100, right? So whenever you
Oh,
go 100, then you add 1 to the left hand side of decimal.
oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, two
Ma'am,
other data types. Hmm.
ma'am, which type of question in exam will ask from this topic?
See, what will be given is maybe a chart will be given. Okay, so match the following type of questions. So maybe on left hand side will give you some values and on right hand side some data types. So you have to match the appropriate data types. This type of question can come. Not this much detail. Okay, I'll
Ma'am,
discuss
Okay, ma'am.
questions from which one.
Okay,
ma'am,
ma'am.
in simple term, we can say it is changing of data from one type to another type, right?
Yeah, because we currently don't have float because we haven't learned what float is. Later on, when you do float, then you won't need to do all these conversions because float is a data type which can handle decimal points. Integer can't do that.
But you already explained about float now. Float
Yeah,
have
that's why
decimal point.
I am trying not to use that term float because it is not there in the syllabus of city. Okay. Okay. Two more data types, or you can say containers for data that we learned is what list and record. So list is basically what we use, right? List is what? It is a sequence of data elements that can be of any data type. So it can be mixed data types. It can have a single list, can have integers, strings, characters, whatever you want. Again, record is what it stores with multiple fields. So
Excuse me,
basically,
ma'am.
it is a dictionary. Yeah.
Here actually I was having a confusion. Means list is basically a sequence of elements and record is basically a sequence of lists.
No.
Yeah.
List is a sequence of elements. Okay, that is fine. Record is something we will learn in week 6. Okay, dictionaries are in week 6. So don't worry too much about this. It won't come in exam also in quiz 1 because this is kind of out of scope for now. But record is what? Basically, record is something that stores a key value pair. Okay. So key value pair means what? See, each element of the record is like this, right? Sequence number colon 9. So this is one element. Now here sequence number is the key and the corresponding value to this key is 9. Okay. So record basically is a dictionary, sort of a dictionary. So later on in week 6 we'll learn what dictionaries are, what type of operations you can perform on them. But for now, just understand that record is how we show each row in a table, right? For our cards. So if I take a card, this card that is given an example, this person's card, what are the fields? Name, gender, date of birth, town, city. So all these fields are basically the key values. Okay, keys. Sequence number is a key, name is a key, DOB is a key. Okay. And the corresponding values are what? The values given in the card. So for key name, what is the value? Clarence. So that is what is stored. Okay. So it is just representing a card in a row. Okay. Like in a table, how you will represent. So in a table, we'll have columns and rows. So like that only. But this will be better understood when we do dictionaries. Fine. Yeah, this is it. So I'll share this PDF with you on the chat.
Ma'am, is this lecture recorded?
Yeah, it's recorded.
Ma'am, we're in YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So
That
any
JSON data structure,
which one?
the key value pairs, right? Is it JSON data structure or
Dictionary. It's a dictionary.
dictionary? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but don't use that term right now because we haven't done week 6 yet. So just think of it as a record for now, like how the data is stored that has the data that has multiple types of fields like name, date of birth, town, city. These are different fields. How this type of data is stored. So that is stored in the form of a record. Record looks like this. Later on in week 6, we'll learn that this is what is called a dictionary. Okay.
Ma'am, there is a
Ma'am,
statement that list usually contains the same field. How is this?
Yeah, usually, see, like usually in a list, you will see in examples also, in real life examples also, we don't see many lists that have mixed data types. So if I want, let's say, names of people who have scored the highest mark in a list. So those are all of same data type string. But yeah, there are definitely examples of lists that have mixed data types. It is not out of scope. Both things are possible. Okay. But it is more common that it is of same data type. Okay. Any doubt from so far in this week 1 summary?
ma'am, sanity of data.
Yeah, sanity of data is the same thing. That's why I discussed this data types, right? So sanity of data, if I explain with a question, it will be better. So I will take that. Here,
Okay,
does
ma'am.
anyone have any doubt in this?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, then let's quickly do the summary of week 2 also, then we'll move on to questions. Okay. So we'll do 2 papers from
Ma'am,
last 2 terms.
where can we find this PDF of this?
I'll share it on the chat. Okay. So this is not given to you, I think. I'll share it on the chat.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Week 2, I don't have a concise PDF like this, so we'll just have to go through whatever is given in the
Ma'am, can you explain about dealing with fractional values?
fractional values are what? You can convert them to decimal only, right?
Okay.
Decimals can be converted to fractions. So those are all float only. So we don't actually use fractional values, we use decimal values. Fractions you don't have in programs, right? In programs, we don't use fractions like that. We use decimals.
And what about complex data type?
No, that we don't have in the scope of our syllabus. Complex we don't use. That is very complicated. I mean, if you want to ask that how to show complex numbers, right? That A plus IB format.
According to me, complex data contain like
Okay,
float,
complex
string,
data
bloom.
type you're asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
So complex data type.
Ma'am, this lecture is about week 1 summary.
Yeah, this is week 1 summary.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, you first just tell me exactly what the question is. Like, what type of complex data type you're talking about?
Complex data type, like what are there? I think data type with multiple field is known as complex data type, right?
What are simple data types then? Can I say integer is a simple data type?
We can.
Then can I say list is also a simple data type? No, because inside that a lot of things are present.
Okay.
Right. So list is basically a container. But complex data types, if you ask exactly examples, okay, give me a second. I'll show you something. Can you see my screen?
No.
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
wait. Now can you see?
No.
No, ma'am.
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, I think I can't share this thing. Okay, no problem. I'll just write it. Wait. So why, see, I didn't want to discuss this right now because I don't know if this will make it complicated. But complex data type, what we know is that it's the some examples I'm telling you is like arrays, sets, tuples. Okay. So when you go to Python after this term, then you will learn about all of these. So these are basically some can be user defined. Okay. And some are already there. Okay. Some are default. So these data types are already there in Python. You can see. But complex data types are different than this integer character because an array, a set, a tuple, these can store multiple elements. And there are a lot of constraints on these also, like what type of element they can store. Okay, so for CT, this is very out of scope. But in Python, next term only you'll learn about all of these.
Yeah.
Okay, so I won't elaborate on this. These are some complex data types.
Means then dictionary can also be a complex data type.
Yep. Dictionary can also be. Okay, let's do this one. So these lectures, slides, we have already gone through in the actual classes. So I'll just quickly go through them once, right? So in week 2, we learned iteration with filtering. Okay. So first we started with the flowchart only. So again, let me reiterate. These are terminal symbols, right? Start and end, oval shaped boxes. These are what process boxes, all rectangular boxes wherever you're doing some arithmetic or some processing operation. And this is the decision box. These are the control flow arrows. Right. So
Ma'am, I
iteration with
think your screen is got stuck. I can't see what you are showing in the screen.
Yes, ma'am. Your
okay.
Yes,
screen is
ma'am.
paused.
Wait. Let me share. This
Wait, ma'am, it's loading. Now, yes, ma'am. Now it's
Ma'am, now
So iteration with filtering means what? First, tell me which are the iterative steps here in this particular flowchart. Which steps are iterative steps?
More cards in pile 1.
More cards in pile 1, right? So here, this is the start. Now,
Is it,
which
ma'am?
steps are getting repeated?
Picking a card, I'm moving it to pile 2 and checking for something.
Checking for something, then this do something, and then do something for no, do something for yes, right? So this loop, this arrow that is coming back, these are the iterative steps, right? And when I say iteration with filtering, that means now I will add some filter right here. So this decision box is doing some kind of filtering. So these things we have already seen, no point in wasting too much time on it. So like if I want to find max, right? So I have to initialize a variable called max. And then here in the decision step, I do the actual filtering of the cards that which one is the current max. We have to update the max whenever we find a greater value, right? That is happening here. Now, if you want to again do more filtering, yeah, so this thing also we saw that for every card we can also store the corresponding max card ID. That comes under processing, right? Where is that example? Okay, I think that is in the next slide. Wait. The slides are very repetitive and a lot of same things are present. But one question from flowchart I think will be there. So don't ignore it.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am. Just asking. I have not
There
received the admit card for
percentage
the
for
exam right now. So, where can I get
You'll get it. It will come in your mail only.
in mail?
Yeah. Has anyone received admit card yet?
No, ma'am. No.
no, ma'am.
It is not yet sent. You'll get it
Hall
before the
ticket also
exam.
I could not get. Means it is just showing blank when I click on the exam.
I think it's not released. It will be released soon. Exam is on Saturday, right?
Sunday, ma'am.
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah, that's time. You'll get it. I think today or tomorrow it will be released.
Still now we only know about center.
Ma'am, can you give some example that what they can ask in
I
from
will
flowchart?
go. See, I will go to the questions only
another
after
doubt,
this.
ma'am. Ma'am, is
Hmm.
there any percentage divided over weeks? First week in the
There
qualified
is
exam,
no
first
such.
week contains
There is no
like
such.
weightage.
Yeah, I understand. There is no such weightage as such, but I can tell you that week 1 is not a lot. I mean, you might get at max 2 questions from there, right? Like mostly that only 1 or 2 questions because week 1 not much content is there, but week 3 and 4 are very important. Okay, so maybe you will get around 60-70% of the questions from those 2 weeks, and week 1 and 2 30-40%. That's enough.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, how many questions should we expect from computational thinking to become in the
12 to
qualifier exam?
15, I think 12 to 15. I'll show you an exact quiz 1 paper, okay, after this.
Okay, ma'am.
Just let's finish recapping, then I'll start the question.
Ma'am, questions
Yeah.
of all the subjects will be mixed or there will be separate sections for subjects,
No, separate tests for every subject, no?
but all together in one test.
For CT, there is a separate test, right? For math, stat, there will be separate tests.
Means all the subjects are separate sections, but they will be under one test.
Yes.
No, I am not exactly sure about that exam functionality, but there are separate papers. I mean, I think they will be under the same test only.
Okay.
Ma'am, how many questions it will contain, ma'am?
It varies a little, but around 15 questions, you can think. Yeah.
Only 15.
I'll show you a quiz 1 paper, okay? Then we'll see exactly how many are there.
Ma'am, can I get previous year question papers like that?
Previous year question papers, I think your classmates might have access to those, right? Your seniors have created some question banks and stuff for that.
Where I can find that, ma'am?
If you have any WhatsApp group or somewhere, I think every term students have those groups. That's where they share these
May
things.
I have shared the link.
S grade and
Yeah, so someone just share the
quiz
link. You can,
practice.
yeah, just join those groups. You'll get the PYQs.
Shared the link
And
for quiz, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, enough. Now let's complete, then we'll go to the questions. Okay, so flowcharts, I think not much to discuss here. Everyone has now understood what it is. So counting, we saw how to count, right? So every time you see a card, you have to just increment the count. These are all same. Now, obviously, pros and cons of flowcharts, that thing you should keep in mind. So pros are very easy, that it is visual, it is easy to understand. Disadvantages, as your process gets more complicated, flowchart will become very large. So it is not easy to maintain, or it is not easy to collaborate on. Okay. So flowchart pros and cons, and then this part is just how you can transition from flowchart to actual English terms, right? In words, how you can write without a diagram. But this is not actual pseudocode. So in pseudocode, we don't write the step 0, step 1, all of this. You now know how pseudocode looks like. These are just basic. Uh, Repeated execution, conditional execution, these two things also. Repeated execution, you already know. These steps which come under a loop, which are repeated, right? And conditional execution is the steps which come under if statement. So whenever the condition is true, only then those steps are executed. So pseudocode, I think one more PDF is there. Let's do that, then we'll do the questions. So the week 1 and 2, not much pseudocodes are there, right? That's why the weightage is not very high from these 2 weeks. But sanity of data is important, yeah. Okay, same
Please
thing again.
explain in brief the sanity of data, because in some question sanity of data means we have
See,
to understand
basically,
different things.
I'll tell you something. Sanity means what? That's something that makes sense, right? Insane means it doesn't make sense. It's something crazy, right? So sanity of data means what? Some data is given to you, some data type is given to you. Let's say I have your name given. Okay, the field is name, but the value given is some number. Someone's name cannot be a number, right? So that is not sane data. Again, if I have, let's say I say that I bought 1.5 t-shirts in the shopping bills data set. If you see that the quantity for t-shirts is 1.5, that is not possible. It has to be a whole number. So that is, these are small things, how you can detect some data is sane or not.
Means what I'm trying to ask is that we had been given some data sets, and suppose I'm asking for the data type, means there the date was written in a particular format.
Yeah.
And,
So that format also you should keep in mind. Okay. So whatever format we are using in the data set, use that format only.
means the format needs to be same, but the value can be different. Means suppose
Yeah, value can be different as long as it makes sense. Now the date should not have obviously the 13th month, right?
no, it's not like that. Means suppose the format given is DDMMYY, but we are writing in another format which is universal but not given in the data set.
Yeah,
So
I'd say stick to the data set, because I think this question came up before
yes,
also,
ma'am.
because someone lost marks because of this.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
no,
Okay.
just stick to whatever is given. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is one example of that iteration with filtering. I was looking for this. So here, one decision is being made where here, this is the starting of the loop, and then you pick a card, move it to pile 2. So here we are trying to find sum of boys' maths marks. So here the filtering is happening. So here you check the gender attribute. So instead of this question, it will write x dot gender is equal to male, right? Okay, one more thing is,
That is if loop inside, if condition inside the
if
while loop.
condition. Correct, yeah. This is it. This is while. So here, this slides you can refer to if you have problems writing pseudocode, because this is very easy to understand that which part of the flowchart is translating to which part of the pseudocode. Obviously, start and end are not there in pseudocode, but the rest of the things you can understand, the assignments, loops, if statements. Okay, one more thing I wanted to show. Yeah, this is maximum marks, right? This one we saw. Now, if I want to find maximum of a particular gender, then there will be separate filtering for that. So here, like, what are they doing? Finding the card with the maximum maths marks. So I also want to find the card, so I need to have another variable for the card ID. Now, why it is initialized to -1 is because we have to start with some neutral value, which is not an exact card ID, right? It is not someone's card ID. Because once we see a card, then we can assign the card ID 0. 0 is assigned to some card. So we start with some value that is not given to any card. Okay. And once you do the filtering, then here not much filtering is happening. Here we are just doing basic comparison to find maximum marks. Then you can update both your variables. Now, if you want to do a filtering here to, let's say, filter out only boys, then after this,
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Is it
hmm,
correct? -1. Is it possible to write?
yeah, obviously, yeah, you can write. You can assign any value you want. Okay, because card is what? It is an integer type of variable, max card. So max card can take any integer value. -1 is a valid integer value.
Okay, ma'am.
So where will the filtering happen? After you pick the card and move it to file 2. So here you can add one more decision box if you want to filter out the boys. So you can write x dot gender is equal to males. Here you can do a filtering, so it will take only the boys cards. Okay, so that is mainly what week 1 and 2 is about. Now let's do some questions.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, as we know, if we initialize any value to 0, it will give maximum value. And if we initialize any value to such as 1000 or any greater
Right.
number,
Out of scope value, then it is
it
usually
will
used for
give
minimum.
But ma'am, if we initialize negative value just as in the above example, -1, then what will it
Because
give?
here we are not trying to find maximum card ID, right? We are trying to find maximum marks and the card ID of the person who has earned it, who has got that mark. Card ID is not the variable where we want to store the maximum. It is just to be assigned a new value every time we find a greater mark. Okay, see this thing here. Max M is the variable where we want to store the maximum mathematics marks. So that is assigned to 0. Max card ID is what? The card ID of the person who has scored that maximum mark. So not necessarily that person will have the highest card ID, right? That person can have any card ID. So you just have to make sure that you initialize it to something that is not someone's card ID. So in -1 is nobody's card ID. So I assigned that.
Ma'am, why we assign it here -1?
Because -1 is no particular student's card ID, right? If I assign it 0, 0 is some person's card ID. So I cannot start with that. I have to start with something that is neutral, that is no one's card ID. Then I can
Okay.
assign once I start seeing the cards.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, can you see the paper?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is from May 2024, right? Just 1 year back. This is the quiz 1 qualifier set. So see how many questions are there. Let's check. I think 15, something close to that. Yeah, see, only 12 questions were there. Okay. See, usually this 12 to 15 is the range. 12 you can think. For now, 12 is I think enough. Okay, so this first question you see is from week 1. This is sanity of data.
So all the questions are equally carrying the equal marks, right?
No.
They are
No.
equal each.
Some are having 3 marks, some are having 4 marks.
Okay. Also, one more question. Can we ask the doubt of week 5 after this revision?
Week 5? No. Revision sessions, we are not doing any other weeks. Okay, just 1 to 4. Week 5, I'll again come after the quiz 1.
Okay. Also, if I want to, can I skip the graded assignment of week 5 for the preparation of the 13th?
I'd recommend not to skip it because that will hurt your grades, I think. So
Okay.
if you have already studied it, then solve the graded, please. Don't skip the graded. Yeah, if you have some doubts from the practice, I think I already discussed practice week 5, right? So if after that you have some
I was
doubts,
halfway through the week 5 when I was asking the question, and now I completed the week 5, so I have more questions. Sorry for that.
no, there is nothing to apologize. Okay, let me finish this, then I'll take the doubts. Okay, as many as I can because I have a Python class after this. That's why.
Ma'am, when is the mock assessment for CT going to be released?
Mock, I think answers will be released maybe 1 day before the exam or a few days before the exam, I think. Anyways, the Thursday or Friday, when is the last class? I think on Friday you have the last CT revision session. So in that class, the entire mock will be discussed. Okay.
No, like is it like already released? Because I can't find the
Mock
mock
has been
assessment.
released, right?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Has not
For
been released.
city,
I
for
can't
city
find
not
the
For
released.
CT isn't released.
Okay, not sure. Maybe
Ma'am, in my system, I get mock test 1 for
I
CT.
also thought it is released. Okay, let me ask Piyush sir
For
once.
stats in English, it is released, but then for CT and math, till now I haven't
showing.
found in my dashboard.
In my
It should be
system,
at, it
for
should be at
CT,
the
it is
end. Okay,
released.
so you should scroll to the end on the left hand side panel under
Ma'am,
mock
It's
test.
only
mock
for stat
graded.
and English. It is only released for stat and English.
Okay. Okay. I think if it is not released, I think by in 1 or 2 days it should be released. I will confirm once with you, sir. It will be
Ma'am,
released, don't worry.
in my system, mock test for computers is released.
I'm not sure because it should be, if it is released, it should be there for everyone, right? If others can't see it, let me talk to Piyush sir once. I don't know exactly if it is released or not. Okay.
Ma'am, are
Anyways,
mocks
on
graded?
the third, no, it's not graded.
Okay.
Thursday you will have one more class, so there also, if it is not released till then, I think Piyush sir is taking that class, so you can ask him. But I will ask him today only. If it is not released, we'll release it by tomorrow or the day after, at latest. Okay.
A
All right.
recording of this session will be provided.
All sessions are recorded on YouTube. Okay.
It's not showing.
This session
Yeah,
is
ma'am.
recorded, right? It is not
Not
recorded.
live yet. Not live
Yes,
yet
ma'am, not
in
live.
YouTube.
Not live yet.
Okay, wait, let me ask.
Ma'am, your screen is not visible.
Yeah. Wait, I'm asking them to turn on the recording. I don't know. Maybe it is recorded and maybe it will be uploaded later on, but I'm still asking.
Will you take the doubts at the end of the class?
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
will you take the doubts at the end of the class?
From week 1 and 2. What doubts you have in week 1, 2?
No, ma'am, actually I have a doubt in week 4, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah,
Will you
week
take?
3, 4 is on all doubts on week 3, 4. You can discuss on the Thursday session. Okay. So we divide it like this. Today is just for week 1 and 2.
Okay.
All right. Let's now do it. I don't know. I think they're recording it and maybe they will upload it later. Even if it is not recorded, you can see the other revision sessions from past terms also. Same things are discussed. Okay. For now, just pay attention to this. First, learn here. If you understand here, you won't need to rewatch this. Okay. This first question is from week 1. So the given information represents sports data set and it may have some mistakes with respect to sanity of data. So identify all rows with such mistakes. Okay.
And physics mark.
Row 6 and 8.
Ma'am, row 6 and
Row 6
row
and
8.
row 8.
Ma'am, row 6 and row 8.
Row
Okay.
6 and row 8.
And physics marks.
So I will check all the rows. Let's say row 1. Card number is 1. Fine. That is a valid value. Right. Oh, wait 1 second. Let me see. There was supposed to be another question like this. Maybe later on it is there. Okay. So this is valid. Row 2. Name Harish. Fine. Also valid. Row 3. Gender M. Also valid. Row 4. Date of birth is 30th November.
Ma'am, according to score data set, it is correct.
It
In
is
the score
correct.
data set, date of birth is written like this.
So this
Yeah,
question
according
is
to
where
this.
this question is where we had the confusion, right? Because some people said that this is correct, some people said it is not correct. So in the official solution, it was given as a correct answer. I mean, row 4 is invalid. But in the
Ma'am, but
scores data set, it is given like this.
yeah, but
Ma'am,
ma'am, sir said कि date of birth format will be given in
In
the question.
Okay, so this time I think we'll be specifying then, right? So that means there is no confusion. So you will see it will be given either we are taking the string format or we are taking TDMMYY. That will be specified. For this question, I think this is correct because this is how we have in the scores data set, right? We don't mention the year. So 30th November should be a correct valid data type. Row 5, mathematics marks 62 within 100. This is also correct. Physics is out of range. Row 6 is wrong. Chemistry is fine. Total is also out of range, 398. So row 6
Ma'am,
and 8. Hmm.
excuse me, ma'am, I have a doubt in this question. Ma'am, actually, in this row 4 is also wrong as per the answer. Ma'am, actually, if we see the data that's given, I think in the top it's given, it's written 30, not November. It's like in abbreviated form, just NOV. So I think that's why they are considering it wrong. Like what I
See,
think.
this thing, I mean, the date thing is there is a lot of ambiguity about it. Okay. So this time we have decided we will give the date structure, that what structure we are using in the question. So just according to that, you do it. For this question, ignore it for now because it's too ambiguous. Okay.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
not consider it so that you are not confused. In the actual question, it will be mentioned.
Okay, ma'am.
So for now, let's say row 6 and row 8 are definitely wrong. So from the options, we can check these two. In the answer, this is also given as invalid, okay, but we are ignoring it for now. So this is the type of question you will get in sanity of data. Again, there is a better example with shopping bills data set because there is a lot of fields present, right? Quantity is there, price is there. So be very careful about that because students don't check the quantity and there the data is wrong. Like I said, that for pens or t-shirts, the quantity, if it is given in decimal, then it is wrong, right? Invalid. So be careful about that.
Ma'am, just a second. In this question, sanity of data, if gender instead of M, if M is inverted commas, is that correct?
It should be just M. Okay, whatever is given in the actual card.
No, if it's in
Or
inverted commas, if the question is giving
yeah, it is
gender.
also fine. That is also fine. I mean, M is nothing but a character.
Right.
Right. That is also okay.
Okay, thank you.
And we have to remember every format and every way in which the data is given in the data sets or will be given in
No.
the exam.
See, all the data sets are given in the beginning of the paper, okay? All the formats of the data sets. So you can just refer to that.
It's like the templates.
Yeah, the templates are given. Okay, question 2 is don't think it's from that. Okay, let me check if there are any other sanity of data questions, then we'll solve those first. These are from week 3, week 4. Don't see any other sanity data question here. Okay, let's check this paper also. This is, I think, a September term paper. Every paper usually has at least one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is the question I was asking. See. So this is from shopping mills data set. Right. So it also has the same kind of mistakes you have to identify. So we'll go row by row. First row, cereal item, fine. Category is packed food, fine. It is food. Quantity is 2, not in decimal, this is fine. Price is 220. So cost you have to find accordingly. If quantity is 2, each price is 220. That means 2 into 220, 440. This is also fine. Similarly for milk.
Option
Row 3, row 5.
row 3.
That you can see now. Okay, but in exam, see all the rows so that you don't miss anything. So in
Ma'am,
milk,
row 3 is incorrect.
I think this
2 is also wrong.
this is wrong. Yeah, milk is wrong. How
Row
are you saying
2,
row
the
3, row 5?
category is wrong.
This is dairy, right? Not fruits and food. So this is wrong. See, this is why you miss. I say check every single row and every single column. Okay. Again, row 3, cupcakes, packed food, fine. Quantity is 1, price is 25. So total should also be 25, but it is 50. So it is wrong. Row 4, chocolates, packed food, fine. Quantity is 1, price is 10, cost is 10. Row 5, shirts, women apparel, quantity 1. Now here there in one question it was different. It was given 1.5. Some students said that this was correct. as they didn't see this thing. Okay. So for this is fine, but be very careful about all of the cells. So here, which ones are wrong? B and C. Row 2, row 3.
Ma'am, can we say the shirts belongs to the woman category?
Women or apparel, right? In any of these, if it belongs, it's fine. Apparel is fine. So this is
Yeah.
or. Okay, any of it, if it belongs, it's fine. Okay, I think only one such question you will get on sanity of data. Now let's practice some normal questions also. If we get some week 3, week 4 question, that is okay, because I cannot do such differentiation here. Which one is from which week? Or what we can do is we can do some graded assignments from past terms on week 1, week 2. Should we do that instead?
No, Miss, PYQs are okay. Let's continue with
PYQs are okay, right?
Yes, Miss.
So let's try to solve this paper. So question 1, this is from September 2024, quiz 1 qualifier. So following pseudocode is executed using scores dataset, what will count represent at the end of execution? So count 1 is 0, count 2 is 0, count is 0. Scores dataset. While pile 1 has more cards, read the top card. Now find something is a procedure. So let's first understand what is find something doing. What is it taking as argument? The card X. So procedure find something takes a card as input or argument. Then it
Count
checks.
represents the total number of students used for chemistry and physics less than 60.
Could be. I'll have to solve
And
the entire thing. Okay. Let's solve, then I'll tell. Now, if this card that I have passed as argument, if the chemistry marks is less than 60 or the physics marks is less than 60, or means any one of these, if it is true or if both are also true, that is fine. So if any one is true or both are true, we'll return 1. Otherwise, see, come to this if statement. So if the chemistry marks is less than 60 and physics is less than 60, that means the only other case where both are less than 60, in that case, return 0. So here what happens, see, first there is an or, then there is an and, but on the same things, right? So what have we seen? That return statement, after it executes, we won't see the rest of the code after that. So if I pick some person's card, let's say, who has scored 50 in chemistry and 70 in physics, then we'll directly return 1, right? But if we see that some person has scored 50 in physics and 50 in chemistry, so we cannot return 1 here. Then we'll come to this if and check. So here both are less than 60, then you return 0. So for which case will we return 1? When any one of them, right? What happens here? If I have both below 50, I mean, see, this is just to confuse what is happening. If I have one card A, well, let's say physics and chem. Okay, person has scored 50 and 40. Come to the first if statement. Chemistry less than 60? Yes. Physics less than 60? Yes. You don't even need to check this second one, because if 1 is true, that means we will directly return 1. So will this ever be executed?
No.
It will not.
So there is another case where both are above 60, right? Let's say for some person has scored 70 and 80. In that case, this or will be invalid. But in that case, this and statement is also false, right?
Ma'am, sorry to
this-
interrupt. Ma'am, here or and both are same, right? Is the instruction.
The
Lesser
conditions
than
are same. Conditions are exactly same for both.
but
here,
other than means both are different, right? Or and operator.
or and operators are different, but the conditions are same in both. We are checking both physics and chemistry marks that are less than 60 in both if statements, but one with joined with or, one joined with and. So here the trick is what? Since or already includes this and, okay, or already includes, in or condition, what happens when you have or statements? If either one of the condition is true or if both are true, then it is valid. So that both are true condition, that is this and. So that is already included in this or. So OR will already return 1. So I will never be using this block of code, this return 0. Can I ever use it?
No, ma'am.
No, right? So this is just given to confuse you. Now, every time you come here, it will return 1. This finds something, except when, what is the point where it will not return 1? For which
When
condition?
both data above 60 or 60.
When both are above 60, right? In that case, will it return 0?
No.
No, ma'am.
So what
Yes,
will it
No,
return? Nothing.
Return
Return 1.
and
Return 1.
How will it return 1? If both are above 60, then this is also false, this is also false. False or false is false. So you cannot enter the if block.
But it would return
ma'am,
zero, ma'am.
it will
So
end
which
something
one
and go for
statement is
second iteration.
correct, ma'am?
Which statement? What are you saying?
Means this greater than 60 or lesser than 60, then which one will be correct? Means return with 1 or return with 0?
That's what I'm asking you. If I have a student who has scored 70 in physics and 80 in chemistry, then what will be returned? That's what I'm asking.
will return nothing, ma'am.
No.
Ma'am, return
Return
1.
anything.
Will
It
not
So
will go
return
return
one.
anything.
pressure.
So why will it return 1?
Because 70 is greater than 60.
So am I checking for greater?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, because no, for our condition, if one value is also true, we will return 1.
But is one value true? One is 70, one is 8.
I
No,
think
ma'am, both
it's
are.
return nothing.
Will return
Ma'am,
nothing.
if
So, ma'am,
both
it
are
will
above,
end
then
the.
it will return nothing. But if one is less and one is greater, then it will return
Then
1.
it will return 1. For every other case, it will return 1. It will never return 0. Okay. If both are false, that is the only case where it cannot return anything. If one is true or both are true, it will always return 1. That's why I said this line 17, 18, 19. This block of code will not be executed at all, except for this one condition where both are greater than 60. In that case, this if condition will fail. So it will come to this if. In other cases, this return statement will execute and you will break out of this function itself, this procedure itself. Okay. So
Ma'am,
now
if both return both are less than 60, then
Hmm.
it's also return 1.
1.
Why not 0?
1. Because first, which if condition are you checking? This line 14. So once the return statement is issued, after that you don't check the other lines in that same procedure, right? You go back to the calling procedure. So where was this called? In this line 4. So you'll go back here. Control will go back here.
Okay, ma'am. So in the
will never be returned.
greater than 60 in both subject, then it will
Nothing
return.
will be returned. You cannot return
Yes. Yeah.
anything.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So that's why this finds something. At that point, it cannot return anything. Now, one thing I have to check if there is some kind of mistakes, because usually we don't give this type of question. Okay, fine. Let's just run with the code, whatever is given. So find something if it is equal to 0. So if the procedure returns 0, then count 1 is incremented. If the procedure returns 1, then count 2 is incremented. At the end, count is storing count 1 minus count 2. So count 1 is what? Will it ever be incremented?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Count 2 will be what? Number of students
Number of students who
who
gets
have
less
scored
than
50
chemistry
either
and
in
physics,
chemistry
ma'am.
or physics.
or both.
Either one. Either one.
Or
So
both,
this
ma'am.
count 2 is what? That number of students who have scored below 60 in either physics or chemistry or both. Okay, that's
Both.
what
Yes,
count
ma'am.
2 is. So number of students who have scored below 60. It is
A
saying
number.
okay, but not both. That means there is some mistake in this code.
It will be negative, right? When 0 minus a.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. It will
exactly.
get negative
So
number.
this should be there is some mistake here, because that's what I thought, because this is very weird type of code. We don't write this. I think some greater than less than has been some mistake has been there. Maybe this should have been, I mean, if I want to get this result, that number of students who have scored below 60 marks in either chemistry or physics, but not both, right? So to get rid of that both, then what should be ideally count 1 and count 2?
Condition would be exchanged, right?
Yes, ma'am. Count
Then
either
at
place
that
of count
point,
one, they can.
count 2 should be having that AND operator, right? That means people who have scored less than 60 in both, right? Then that should also return something. And count 1 should be what?
More than
Number of
60.
number of people who have scored lower than 60 in either physics or chemistry or both. So from
Both.
that, we'll take out that set, that smaller set. So there is obviously some mistake in this code. This is not correct. Let me check it one more time. Find something. Just taking a card.
And then what if count 2 represents an OR condition? What will happen?
See, firstly, if I have the AND in the first, so basically I can just take this line 17 and put it in place of line 14. So if I rewrite this find something procedure here, okay, to get the result that they have given in the answer. I'm just writing what should be the proper code for that. So there in find something procedure, first you should check if y dot chem is less than 60 and y dot physics is less than 60. If this is the case, if both are less than 60, then you return what? 1. Okay, let me erase this part. Next, the if should be if y dot chem is less than 60 or y dot physics is less than 60. Then return 0. If this was the code, okay, then now you tell me, let's say I pick a person who has scored physics and chemistry. Let's say the person has scored 50 and 40. In that case, what will be returned?
1.
Ma'am, 1.
1. Okay, it will not even come to this if because this return statement will be executed. Now let's say some person has scored 70
But there
and
is if the statement is else, so we not check the second one.
it is not else, right? That's why I'm taking this next example when it will come to else.
We will
When
go for the
both are less
second.
than 60, then the first if itself will execute because it is valid condition. So you'll directly return 1. No need to check
So
the
if
next
it,
if.
so if
Now,
it
if
is in
someone has scored, it is not nested. Okay. These are different ifs. Now, if someone has scored 70 in physics, 30 in chemistry, in that case, will the first if condition be valid?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No.
No,
Then you
ma'am.
will come to the next if. This one is valid, so you return 0. So which people are there in this return 1 who have scored less than 60 in both and people who have scored less than 60 in either? Okay. They are stored in this return 0, right? Wherever return 0 is being returned. That is what count 1. But one more thing. So ideally, this OR statement that is being executed, it should also contain people who have scored less than 60 in both, right? Because OR is valid for all 3 cases. Chemistry less than 60, physics less than 60, or both less than 60. But in this case, count 1 will represent people who have scored less than 60 in both, and count 2 will represent people who have scored less than 60 in either one. So then also if I do this negative, this difference, then also it is not giving the correct answer. Is it correct? Now if I do this count 1 minus count 2, is it giving the number of students who have scored below 60 marks in either chemistry or physics but not both? If I want to find that only,
Yes.
then I can just return count 2.
Ma'am, can you refer
Count
from
1.
the score data set? Let us know.
Yeah, that is why I'm taking this example. In sports data set, a person can score 50 in physics, 40 in chemistry. For them, what will be returned? 1. So whenever 1 is returned, which count is incremented? Count 2. Right. Now, if some person has scored 17 physics and 13 chemistry, or 13 physics, 17 chemistry, that means 1 is less than 60, 1 is greater than 60. For them, the first if will fail, the second if will work, and will return 0. Whenever you return 0, count 1 is incremented. So now, according to this new code that I wrote, first tell me what is count 1 representing?
The number of people who got below 60 in both the subjects.
No, in
Who
either.
got
No, ma'am.
below
Below
60
60
in
in
below
only
60 in
one
either
subject.
one.
Below 60 or
Only
either
one.
in
Either
physics.
In only one.
in one,
People
only
who have
one, yes.
scored below 60 in only one. Those are stored in count 1. So if I want to get this answer only, this option B, number of students who have scored below 60 in either chemistry or physics but not both, then I can just return count 1, right? That is what count 1 is storing. Count is not storing that. And if I want to remove this set, okay, now what is count 2? Tell me. According to this new code, what is count 2?
If
People who
both
have scored
are
People who
less
are
than
more than
60.
60 in both
Less
subject,
than 60 in both.
chemistry and physics. Yeah,
Less than 60 in both.
Yes, sir.
Right. So is there any intersection between these two sets?
No, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
if
There
I do,
can be.
Ma'am,
what is the intersection?
In both the sets.
There is no
Count 1
intersection
is
between
count
them.
1 is a set where people have scored either less in chemistry or less in physics, not in both. And count 2 is a set where they have what? Got less than 60 in both. So is there any intersection between these two sets? These are disjoint sets.
Ma'am, I have a doubt in the logic. You said that it will be count 2 in this particular equation that you wrote, because you said that
Count
only
1. Count 1, not
yeah,
count.
sorry, count 1 will be returned because it's either physics or chemistry or
Yeah,
both.
that's what they have given in the answer. So according to that, count 1 should be written if I change the code to this.
Yeah, but ma'am, in the first, if y dot chem less than 60 and y dot physics less than 60, then it will filter out all of them who have both of the less than 60 marks, right?
Yes, yes.
So it will be both, right? And then and only those marks where there are either, only they will be accounted for in the second one.
In count 1. In count 1. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Only they are accounted for in this count 1. Okay. Not the both people. They are in count 2. So this count 1 and count 2 sets actually have nothing in common. So if you take a difference of that, if you do count 1 minus count 2, you will get just count 1.
Okay.
So that is what is being returned. See, this question is asked in a very clever way. Okay. I got it. So this is just going to be count 1 only. Okay. So this is correct answer for this question. But if this is the way this procedure is written, then it is not correct. I have to change it. I have to change it to this. Then it becomes correct.
I couldn't understand why both is not considered. Means not both. Means
What is count 1 representing? Understand again. Wait.
According to the new code, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, come again. Sorry. Am I audible?
Yes.
Count 1
Yeah,
is
ma'am, here we
the
are
people who have
considering.
scored below 16 either physics or chemistry.
Look. So that you don't get considered confused, I will say this is the code we are dealing with. Okay. Forget about this procedure that is given. Forget about it.
Okay, ma'am.
If this is the code I'm dealing with, then according to this, 1 will be returned when both are below 60, correct?
Yes.
So if both are below 60, 1 is returned. If 1 is returned, then which count is incremented? Count 2.
Count 2.
Correct? So count 2 is people having both below 60. Right? When is 0 returned? When either one. Right? When either one is less than 60, not both. If both are below 60, already return 1 is there. You won't even come to this statement. When will you come to this statement? When either one is below 60. The other one is not, because this is an and. Both have to be true. This is an or. Either one can be true. So when is 0 returned? When either one marks is less than 60 and the other one is greater. Right. So in that case, if 0 is returned, which count is incremented? Count 1. So what is count 1? People having
more than 60 in one subject.
Yeah, less than 60 in one subject or more than 60 in one subject. In exactly one subject, right? So now if I do count 1 minus count 2, what will be there? Is there any intersection between these two sets? Anything in common between these two sets?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Here count 2 is
More than
exactly
60,
intersection.
less than
No,
60
Ma'am,
is
it will
one
give
subject.
negative. No.
That
First
is
tell
fine.
me. This count 1 and count 2, whatever it is. Okay. I don't know what is count 1, what is count 2. But I am just asking, is there anything in common between these two sets?
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No.
There is
No.
one at one less than 60. There less a subject less than 60 is common in both.
I did not understand. What is common?
Ma'am, nothing is common in this.
No, let me hear his logic also. He also needs to understand. Yeah, tell me what is common.
Ma'am, if count 2 is having both subject below 60 and count 1 having exactly one subject below 60, then that one subject below 60, I think so.
That is not how you do common, right? You have to take both conditions. The condition is what? One is saying both physics, chemistry below 60. One is saying either physics below 60 or chemistry below 60, not both. So these
Yes.
two are completely disjoint sets. There is nothing in common between them. Now the count will depend. I don't know how many such students are there. That you have to refer to the data set if you want to find out the exact count. Right. But if I take them as sets, purely sets, I'm not talking about numbers like how many people are there in count 1, how many people are there in count 2. I'm just talking about sets because these are disjoint sets. So if I do count 1 minus count 2, if I do take a difference of these two sets, what will I get in result? Count 1 set itself. If this is the set of count 1, this is the set of count 2. There is nothing in common between them. So if you want to take this out of this, what will be the result of the subtraction? The set A itself, right?
There is nothing common, will not get any
Yes.
result.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
That
ma'am, we will get the
The,
A.
the result will be the first set from which you are subtracting. Since nothing can be subtracted, so the entire set is the result. But
Yes,
this
ma'am.
question is framed in a wrong way, I would say, because count is not representing what they are saying it is representing. Okay.
Ma'am,
So
We'll get,
ma'am,
ma'am.
this is a question of quiz 1. Yes. If this type of question will come into the quiz qualifier exam, what we will do in that situation?
if there is any mistake from our side, like if there is any mistake in the code, then marks will be given to everybody. Okay. Maybe this question also, if it was, if this is wrong, then maybe marks was given to everybody in that term also. Okay. We always do this. We give you this form, right, where you give us like what all difficulties you faced in the exam, which all questions you have doubts in. So we recheck every question. If there is a genuine mistake in any question, everyone will get marks for that.
Ma'am, I
Okay.
have a doubt related to if state that if it fulfill the first statement that it returned to 1, then we will not take the second one.
Yeah. Because once you have a return statement issued, after that, so you just come out of that procedure call, right? You come back to the main program. The return statement is the break. You only execute until you reach a return statement.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, can we just like for this we can say like the number of students who got like the difference, right? The since we can say that count 1 is n of that is the number of students who got either less than 60 in either the subjects,
We can't
And
say anything about this. See, why we can't say anything is because we don't know the actual counts. Okay. And even if we did know the counts, there is nothing in common between these two. So subtracting one from the other will just give a numerical value, either positive or negative, but it is not meaningful since there is nothing in common between these two sets.
okay, that is a point, but we can compare them, right? Like
Yeah.
set
If
A
you
is greater
think
than set
about
B.
it at if you think about it as sets, that's why I thought about it as sets, not counts. Okay. So if you think about it as sets, then it is purely if count one was the set and count two was also a set, then count one is purely the set of people who scored below 60 in exactly one subject, either physics or chemistry, but not both.
So we can, with the result of count, we can compare them. We can say that count 1 was greater than count 2 if it is a positive value, and count 2 is greater than count 1 if it
Yes,
is a negative
definitely.
value.
Yeah, that you can say. That you can say.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
like
if
if
they
we
men
take it as a set, then the answer is correct, no?
Not correct, actually. This entire procedure is wrong. No. If we
Ma'am,
go
like no,
according
the
to the
count.
procedure that they give, then it is wrong.
Yeah, ma'am, like count two is storing the student who have gained means less than 16 one subject, but
Hmm.
the count two is storing exactly both the subjects should have less than 60. So means count one can store both also and less than one also, but count two is storing both.
No,
So if
count
we
one cannot
subtract
store
them,
both. That's the whole point. Count one cannot store both. Count one will only store what? People who have scored
ma'am, no,
less than 16,
ma'am, I
exactly
am
two.
ma'am, like I'm talking it in from this given code, from the
Okay, yeah.
perspective of the given code.
In the perspective of the given code, count one will never be incremented as, in fact, I mean, because return zero statement will never execute.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so count one won't represent anything. Everything will be
Oh,
represented in count two, and that is people who have scored either in one subject or in both. All are included in count two if we go according to the given code. Okay, that's why I think this question is wrong. So maybe marks were given to all. Don't
Ma'am,
worry too much about this. If any mistakes are there, we'll give marks to everyone. Okay.
ma'am,
Ma'am, if they
here the
mention
count
about
variable.
absolute of count one minus count two.
I already told you, no, count one minus count two in this context, it is nothing. It is no meaningful data at all because these are different sets. There is nothing in common. If there is nothing in common, what will this meaning be? If I have a set of people who support some party A and a set of people who support some party B, then this division in these two, difference in these two sets is null. There is nothing in between them. I mean,
But I
intersection
have
is null.
posted a question in the chat. Can you please explain this?
Yeah, let me check. Who is this? Ronak Roy. This, right? Can you see the question on my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
This
ma'am.
number 10 question that he has sent.
No, ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Only the PDF.
Wait, let me share that. I'll share the entire screen only. Now?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is saying first
टूट गया पूरा.
so A is 0, B is 0, right?
Oh my
Why
God.
is this thing not going up? This control panel is coming. I cannot. Okay, fine. Let it be. So A is 0, B is 0. This is for the words data set. Okay. P is true, Q is false. Now, while table 1 has more rows, you pick out the first row. Now, part of speech, if that first card that you picked, if the part of speech is adverb and P is true. And P means when will it be true? If P is assigned the value true. So initially P is assigned the value true. So for first iteration, definitely P will be true. And let's say the first card you picked is also of adverb part of speech. So both are true. In that case, you will come inside the if condition. And P will be assigned false, Q will be assigned true. Okay. But let's say in your first iteration, if the word you picked is not an adverb, if it is a noun, but P is still true, right? Because initially P is true, Q is false. In that case, you will have to go to the else part. Else part is saying if not Q, then A is equal to A plus 1. If not Q will be true when Q is false. Not of false is true. So let's do this with an example as well. So let's say I have some sentence in which the first word is a noun, second word is an adverb, third word is a verb. Okay, let's
Ma'am,
take
are
it
you
like
writing on
this.
the screen
No,
something?
I am not writing this. This editor won't let me write. Okay. I think I can write. Wait. Annotate. No, it won't let me write. Okay, no issue. Just remember this. Let's take a sentence as our example where the first word is noun, second word is adverb, third word is verb. Okay. So first word is noun. Now initially first iteration P is true, Q is false. A is 0, P is 0. First iteration part of speech I said noun. So will the first if condition be true?
No, ma'am.
So I'll come to else. If not Q, is this true?
Yes, ma'am.
Because Q is false. So
Yes.
not of false is true. So A is incremented by 1. Okay. Now go for the second iteration. See, this is all inside the while loop, right, itself.
So it is iterating.
So you have to come to this line 14. Line 14 is also inside the while loop.
Yes,
See,
ma'am.
while bracket is closing in line 19.
Yes.
Okay. So this next if statement, if words ends with a full stop. So obviously this is the first word. It does not end with a full stop. So you don't have to do anything. Go for the next iteration. Next word I said is a adverb. P is still true.
Ma'am, A is equal to A plus 1 is what?
It is just a variable. Okay. So A will be incremented. In the first iteration, A is incremented because Q was false.
Ma'am, if
Now,
A is equal to 0, then A is equal to 0 plus 1.
yeah, simple, increment it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Second word is an adverb, let's say. So second iteration, part of speech adverb is fine. P is still true. So first if condition is valid. Now P is set to false, Q is set to true. Again, you check if word ends with a full stop, no. So again, I have one more word left in my sentence. So that last word I said is of data type verb. So part of speech adverb is false. So come to the else part. Now is the if condition true here? Not of Q.
Ma'am, first we will go for the upper one if and the lower one if. Then we will go for the else condition.
Everyone should be clear on the if else block by now. When do we come to else block? When if condition is not valid.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So here, if I say, what did I say? Again, let me start from the beginning. The question is, I am taking one example of a sentence where there are only 3 words. Okay, consider this as the first sentence. There are only 3 words. First word is a noun, second word is an adverb, third word is a verb. Fine, just remember this. Now, first iteration,
ma'am.
first word is a noun. Okay.
Yeah.
So P is initially true, Q is initially false. So if statement, if part of speech is adverb and P, that means both need to be true for it to be valid. But my first word is of noun data type. So will the if statement be valid in first iteration?
No, ma'am, it will false.
So come to else part. If is false, that means we have to come to else. Else part you're asking if not of Q. Not of Q is true when Q is false. Right? So after first iteration, Q was true or false? Did I change anything?
False.
Q is still false. because in first iteration, this X word ends with a full stop. This condition is also false. So nothing changed. Now your Q is still false. So
If word is
A
not
is
adverb, then we directly come to the else part.
else part. Yes. First iteration I'm talking about. The word is of noun data type. So it is, if first if statement is invalid, come to the else part. If not Q, this is true. So A is incremented. A is now 1. Now the second if statement in line 14. Does word end with full stop? No. It is the first word of a sentence. Can't end with full stop. So nothing is changed. At this point, P is what?
Ma'am, here not Q means not false, means true.
Yeah. So after first iteration, what is the P value? What is the Q value? First tell me that. Did the P and Q value change anywhere?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So P is still true, Q is still false.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
go for the second iteration. Second word I'm saying in my sentence is of adverb data type. So first if condition will be true or false in line 5?
True.
True. Now P is set to false, Q is set to true. You don't need to execute the line 9 else part because if was true. So only if statement will be executed. Now go for the second if statement in line 14. Is the current word ending with a full stop? No. It is the middle word. There is still one more word left in the sentence. So nothing is changed. At this point, what is P? False. What is Q? True. Now go for the third iteration. Third iteration, I said the word is a verb. So first if condition will be true or false.
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 That means I have to come to which line?
Else.
Else part. If not Q. Now Q was set to true in the previous iteration. So not of Q is false. So A will not be incremented. Again, you check the line 14. Is word ending with a full stop? Yes. So now P is set to true, Q is set to false again. That means it is reinitialized. So what is A representing? Okay.
Number of words after the first
Ma'am, the
adverb.
number of words before the first
A
adverb.
will increment.
See, A only
Ma'am,
A.
can you explain this again?
Okay, what is the time first you check because I have another class from 8, so I can't keep on doing the same thing.
Ma'am, 7:38.
Okay, I'll tell this one more time. Please be attentive. This is very simple question. Okay, please be attentive.
Yes, ma'am.
Just think of it as I have taken an example. Okay, so that you understand better, let me take a different example. Let's say there are 4 words in my sentence. First 2 words are noun, then there is an adverb, then there is a verb. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, starting the first iteration. P is true, Q is false. Okay. First if statement. Part of speech is adverb. First word is noun. So if statement is false, come to else part. If not of Q, Q is initially false, not of Q is true. So A is incremented by 1. A's value is now 1. Next, if X word ends with a full stop. No, this is the first word, does not end with a full stop. So nothing else is changed. So first iteration is done. What is the value of P after first iteration? True only.
True.
Value
Yes,
of
ma'am.
Q is false only because it was never updated. Now go for the next iteration. Next word is also a noun. So again, the first if condition becomes invalid since it is not an adverb. Again, come to else part. If not Q, this is still true. Not of false is true. So A is
Yes.
incremented again. A is now 2. Again, come to the if statement. Is it ending with a full stop? No. No P or Q, neither of them are changed. Now come for third iteration. Now I said the third word is an adverb. So part of speech is adverb. P is still true. So both are true. That means if statement will be executed. So P is now set to false and Q is now set to true. Okay. Then come to line 14. Does it end with a full stop? No. There is one more word left. So after the
Ma'am,
third
how many
iteration,
times the iteration have been done?
as many as there are words in the sentence. So this is words
Okay.
data set. So it will go through every word in the data set, every sentence.
Okay, ma'am.
So now for the fourth iteration, before I go to the fourth iteration, what is P, what is Q? P is false, Q is true.
Yes, ma'am.
Now when you go for fourth iteration, which is a verb. So part of speech is verb. So first if statement is wrong, right? So you have to come to else. Now if you check if not of Q. So not of Q is now what? True or false?
True.
True.
Yes, ma'am.
Q is true. So not of Q
Not
is what?
false.
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 False. So again, will you increment A? No.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, here why will not increment A?
Because if condition is invalid. If condition is invalid, how can you go inside the if loop?
Ma'am, means if not Q here, if not Q is false, storing false, so we will not increment A.
See,
Q is
if
false.
statement,
So not Q
if
is false.
listen, if not Q. So what is the inside expression evaluating to? Not Q. Means if Q is true, not Q is false. So if the entire statement evaluates to false, then you do not execute the if statement. You only execute when the Boolean value comes to be true. In this case, it
Okay,
will
ma'am.
only be true when Q is false. Okay. So Q is false,
Okay.
not of false is true. So here A is not incremented. And this is the last word of the sentence. So again, P is reinitialized to true, Q is reinitialized to false. So A value at the end of this 4-word sentence is 2. So what does that represent?
Adverb.
Number of
before
words
the first.
before the first adverb.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. What
Sorry,
is
ma'am.
here not
Hello,
Q 10 number?
ma'am. My
What
question is,
not Q? Yeah, Ronak, you
Else
asked
statement,
first.
if not Q, only one line, please. If not Q is mentioned after else.
Yeah, so it is inside the else statement. Look at the braces. Else statement start at line 9, ends at line 13. The if statement is inside that else. This is nested. Understood?
So what does it mean not Q?
Q equals to false.
Ma'am, Q dash, not Q is equal to Q dash, which means Q is equal to 4.
Complement. Okay,
Yes,
simple
ma'am.
word, it is complement. If this is difficult to understand, whatever Q is, true or false, it will take the complement value. So if it is true, not of Q will take false. If it is false, not of Q will take true. And if is only valid if the inside expression evaluates to true. Okay.
ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am, I was selected last option, which is true.
Number of words before the
before the
adverb
first
in every
adverb.
sentence. Okay,
Yes, yes,
not
yes.
in every sentence, right? I think A is not being reinitialized anywhere. So number of words, I think this will take the entire data set. Which option is given as correct? Wait. Number of words before the first adverb or full stop in every sentence. Yeah, so in some sentence, there might not be any adverb present. In that case, it will take all of the words before the full stop. So is option C given as the correct answer?
Yes, ma'am.
So option C is correct. Because see, yeah, you are correct in your logic that number of words before the first adverb in every sentence, right? But A is not getting reinitialized anywhere, right? So A will keep incrementing. For every sentence, you are going to keep adding to A. A is not reinitialized after every sentence, like P and Q are. So it is number of words before the first adverb in every sentence or before the full stop in every sentence. There might be a sentence where there are no adverbs. In that case, this P is equal to false, Q is equal to true. This reinitialization in line 6 and line 7 will never happen if there are no adverbs. So A will keep getting incremented in that sentence. So even if there is a sentence where there is no adverbs, it will take all the words that come before full stop. So now option C is correct.
Ma'am, let's move to the next question.
Ma'am, could you go to the problem number 5 of practice assignment 5?
Practice assignment, which week?
Week 5, ma'am.
No, we're not doing week 5 today. Okay, we have to do week 1 and 2 first because people are already so much confused in week 1 and 2. If you're not even clear about if-else statements, I cannot move forward. Okay.
Because I have to submit the graded assignment. Actually, that is why I was asking. I have one small doubt.
Can I do one thing? Just let me go through some more problems and then I will take your doubts. Okay, till
Yeah.
8 o'clock I'm here.
Your recording is also not available in the live session. I like.
Yeah, I asked them. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't contact because I'm in this class, so I cannot leave. That's why I couldn't contact. I did ask them to record. If it is not there, I don't know. If they have recorded and are going to upload later on that also, I don't know. But what I can do is, if people have doubts in week 5 assignment, you please send me your doubts. Okay, I'll give you the answers. But this session, let me first take the week 1 and 2 because this will not be discussed again before quiz 1. Okay, week 5, I know the deadline is now, but currently I first have to finish week 1 and 2 because that is what this session is for. Okay, you send me on mail, I will give you the answers. Okay, I'll try
Just a
to
small,
solve the doubts.
just a small doubt. Like one option I am not able to figure out. Like why it is correct, why it is incorrect.
See, now if I take your doubt, now other people will also start asking week. Does anyone else also have week
Ma'am,
5
please
doubts?
carry ahead. Ma'am, please carry ahead.
Can
Just
we
wanted 15, 20.
carry on with
Yes,
the
ma'am.
week 1 and 2, please?
Yeah, let's complete week 1 and 2.
Qualifier
You
are
send
more
me what
important than week.
exactly. So week 5 you can do on your own or you can send me the doubt. Okay, let's first do this. You already have my mail ID, you mail me whatever doubt you have. Okay. Let's do question 2. So much time is wasted on 2 questions. So the following pseudocode is executed using shopping bills dataset. Assume the variable average T holds the value of the average total bill amount. Okay. So what will Q represent at the end of execution? Okay, average T holds the average total bill amount. So total bill amount from every bill and the average of that is being stored in average T. What will Q represent? So P and Q are initially 0, right? While table 1 has more rows. So now you iterate through all the cards of shopping bills data set. You pick up every card and you check, is the total bill
Ma'am, Q
amount
represents the number of shopping bills that have purchased from
yes.
Big Bazaar or
Oh,
SP
if
stores.
someone has got the
Oops.
answer, okay, very well. But let me explain for everyone. Okay, now please no more interruptions. Enough time has been wasted. Okay. So read the first row. You pick up every card, you check the total bill amount, and you check whether that amount is greater than the average T. That means average of entire data set. If it is greater, then you add 1 to P. That means P is going to be storing what number of bills where total bill amount is greater than the average total bill amount of entire data set. Now, if the total bill amount is not greater than average, that means it is either less than average or equal to average. In that case, you come to the else statement, inside which there is another nested if. So here you check, usually in Python you will use something called elif. Okay, then this confusion will be gone. So else there is another nested if. Here you check if the shop name is Big Bazaar or the shop name is SV store. So the current card that you're holding, what information do you have? That the total bill amount is either less than or equal to average T. And if the card is from Big Bazaar or SV stores, then you add 1 to Q. So what is Q representing? Number of bills from Big Bazaar or SV stores where the total bill amount is less than or equal to average total bill amount from the entire data set. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So which option here?
Option B.
Is lesser. Okay. Option B you're saying, but where is the equal to condition? Option D is correct, no? Number of bills from Big Bazaar or SV stores where total bill amount is lesser than or equal to the average total bill amount. See,
Yes,
it is just greater.
option D, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This one. So the following pseudocode is again, now we are using the library dataset. At the end of execution, A captures the number of non-fiction books which were published between 2005 and 2010, including 2005 and 10, and are written in English. So choose the correct code procedure to complete the pseudocode. So what we have to find, we have to make sure that A is a variable which captures the total number of non-fiction books that are published between 2005 and 2010, including those 2 years, and are written in English. So 2 things we have to take care of, the year and the language. Okay. So initially A is 0, while table 1 has more rows, so you iterate through all the cards in library dataset. Every time you pick a card, in A variable, you are storing A plus do something X. So this do something procedure is basically filtering out the cards according to the conditions given. So we have to find the code which is most suitable for do something. Okay. So basically this should return 1, right? If the conditions are true, and 0 if it is not true. So A is number of non-fiction book. That means it should return some count. It should return some number, right? A plus do something X. This do something X should return either 1 or 0. Is that making sense?
Yes,
A is
ma'am.
basically keeping a count, right? So either the count has to be incremented or the count remains same. So do something either returns 1 or returns 0. It should be like that. So can the first, this one, okay, it is returning flag, but flag is containing what?
True.
False and true. So can this be a correct option?
No, ma'am.
So you can eliminate.
Yes.
This one also same thing.
Yes, miss.
All of them they're returning flag. Are there so many wrong questions in this? Because this will never return the number of non-fiction books, because flag is just true or false. How can you add on Boolean variables? Do something X. Flag false and says true. Whatever you return, this is Boolean. Yeah, conditions are fine, but see, this is not valid, right? If you return
ma'am.
true cannot be added to something. It is not a count. So I
Ma'am,
can
it should
fix the
return
code.
A.
I should fix the code. See what the code should be actually. Now let's check option 1. Procedure do something, take some card. Okay. Flag is initially false. If year is greater than equal to 2005 and year is less than equal to 2010. So this is our limit, right? Is the limit correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
It is
ma'am.
including both the end cases, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, it is checking if the genre is not equal to fiction. That means it is definitely non-fictional book.
Yes.
So this is also correct. Another thing is language is English. So all the nested conditions. So definitely they are all going to be satisfied if I have to reach flag equals to true. So all three are correct. So what I'm saying is instead of flag equals to true, we should set flag equals to 1. Right? We should start with flag 0 and here set flag equals to 1, then return flag. Then it will add 1 here. Right? That will be the count. True false cannot be added. So this is just the only mistake here. The conditions are all correct. Just flag should not be Boolean, it should be integer type. Okay, actually sometimes what happens, this true value is taken as 1. Okay. We say 1 is true and 0 is false. So maybe that's what they were thinking in this question, but this is not syntactically correct.
And can we
They
use
should mention
found
it,
equal
ma'am.
to 0?
So sorry, what?
Found equal to 0. Can we assume it?
Found means, I mean, you want to take the found variable instead of flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, any variable you can take. Just return that variable, whatever you're taking. Okay.
We get the point, ma'am. Move to the next question.
This one is following pseudocode is executed using words dataset. What will count represent at the end? It's possibly the last question we can do today. So count is 0, flag is true. Okay. This is from words dataset. We have to find out what is count representing. So again, while loop to iterate through all the cards. Pick up a card. You are checking if count vowel X. So count vowels is a procedure. What is count vowels doing? It is taking a card as argument. So come to the procedure definition. So here it is basically counting how many vowels are there in a particular card or word. Okay. So I is initialized as 1, B is initialized as 0. So while, how many times will the loop iterate while I remains less than equal to letter count, y dot letter count. That means if I pick a word soon, if this is my word, okay. So what is the letter count? 4. I will start from 1. So for first iteration of while loop, It is less than equal to 4? Yes. If ith letter is a vowel, is the ith letter vowel? No. First letter is not a vowel. So nothing will happen. Go for the second iteration, O. Okay. I is now 2. So here, if it is not a vowel, if the letter is not a vowel, how will I get incremented? I think these questions are something wrong with these questions.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
is also not correct because this I
Yes,
is
ma'am.
equal to I plus 1 should be after this braces, right? This should be
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Otherwise, if
Yes.
the first one is a
Yeah.
consonant, then I will never get incremented.
Yes, ma'am.
And without I
This will.
incrementing, you cannot go for the next letter.
Yes, ma'am.
So again, let me fix this. Let's take it out. So this should
This
be
will
ideally
tell
after
us
the,
something. Yeah.
maybe some wrong questions are here. But
All
anyways,
the
we
wrong
can
questions
all,
are.
yeah, all the wrong questions are here. Luck is just bad today. No problem. We can always fix. This is also something you can learn to find out. See those type of questions where you have to
Yeah,
find
ma'am.
out which code is wrong, right? So here, this is a good example. If I have I inside the braces, then I will not get incremented. See the example I took. S is the first letter, which is a consonant. So for that, I will never be able to get inside the inner if loop. And if I can't do that, I cannot increment I. I should be ideally outside. Okay. So let's say I fix the code. So obviously S is not a consonant, B is not incremented. So let's go for the next iteration. O is a vowel. So for that ith letter is a vowel, B is incremented. B is 1 now. Again, third iteration, O is another vowel. So B becomes 2. Then last iteration, where 4 is less than equal to 4. Okay. So N is a consonant. So again, nothing will happen. So at the end, after that, I becomes 5, which is not less than equal to 4. So I have to return B at this point. So 2 it is returning. So this count vowels procedure is basically taking a word and finding out how many vowels are in that word. Okay. Now what this does, so you return the count vowels back here. So let's say you pick the current card X. Okay. Let's say that card contains this soon word. So count vowels X will give the value 2. So if 2 is equal to letter count minus count vowel. So what does this if statement mean actually? When will these two be
Number
equal?
of number of
Number of
consonants.
consonants.
So when number of vowels are equal to number of consonants in some word. So in this word that is true, correct? In the word soon, total number of words letters is 4. Count vowels is returning 2. So is 2 equal to 4 minus 2? Yes.
Yes,
So
it
then
is
flag
true.
is set to false if this condition is true. So then flag becomes false. Next if condition is if word ends with a full stop and not flag. So when will this become true? When you're at the end of a sentence and flag is false. So tell me one thing. If I write a sentence like this, okay, I will come soon. This is the sentence. For the first 3 words, check. For I, okay, what is the vowel count? 1. What is the letter count? 1. So number of vowels is equal to number of consonants? No, there are 0 consonants, there is 1 vowel. So flag will not be set to false. For the second word, again, is number of vowels equal to number of consonants? No. There is 1 vowel, 3 consonants. So flag will not be set to false. Same, okay, come to the third word. Come. Here, how many vowels and consonants are there? 2 each. PM and OE. So here flag will be set to false because this condition will become true now. Now once flag is set to false, next you take the last word in the sentence which is soon. For that also flag is again set to false. Then this word is also the last word in the sentence and not flag. That means flag has to be false, not of flag will be true. Only in that case, this if statement will be correct. So count will be incremented when? That's the point. When is count incremented? There is only one case in which count will be incremented. When we can say for sure that in that sentence there is at least one word in which the number of vowels and consonants are same. If that is not the case, will flag ever be set to false?
No, ma'am.
No.
For flag to be set to false in a particular sentence, there should be at least one word where number of vowels is equal to number of consonants. Right? So count is representing what? Number of sentences in which there is at least one word that contains equal number of vowels and consonants. Can I say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So which one?
B.
Number of sentences with each word having equal number of vowels and consonants. No.
Yeah.
Number of sentences with each word having different number of vowels and consonants. What is this? This is not correct. This is not correct.
And
It
the
means
option should be like the number of sentences in which it has at least one
at
word
least one. Correct.
which has a equal number of words.
Which is equal number of vowels and consonants. This is a very unfortunate PDF I have picked in which there are so many mistakes. But that's
It's
okay. These
all the
are
wrong questions and answers.
yeah.
Ma'am, could you post the two links of the last two recorded instructor sessions?
Ma'am, also can you post the week 1 summary PDF?
Yeah. Okay, let me post
Ma'am,
that right
can
now
you
only.
please repeat this question after procedure step?
What? Sorry, couldn't hear.
Ma'am, after procedure, can you please repeat the last question which you
I don't think I can repeat. It's already past 8. I have to go for the Python class now. It's from 8 to 10. So I'll just quickly post the summary. Wait.
Could you post the link of the
Okay.
last two recorded instructor sessions? Because I was trying to consult first them, but I couldn't find them actually.
They're in the live sessions only, na? Under.
They are not. I have checked.
Okay. Just do one thing. Just wait till tonight. Okay. Let me. I will update that in the YouTube channel if it is not there. Okay.
Okay, please
And
do.
ma'am, can you please share your email?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. First, let me share the week 1 summary. Then I'll share my mail in the same message.
Ma'am, when there is a next summary lecture, ma'am?
Thursday.
Week 3 and 4, ma'am?
Yeah, week 3 and 4. And then again on Friday, you do the mock. IITM.ac.in. One second. Can everyone see it?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, link for the week 1 summary.
Yeah, I gave it also. See, it's there.
Will you make sure that like the mock assessment will be released by today or tomorrow for CT?
Which one? The mock?
And yeah.
Yeah. I'll talk to Piyush after this.
If possible for math as well, because it hasn't been released for math as well.
Okay. Let me ask. Math I cannot say because I don't have. I can't talk to those instructors right now. But I will check for CT. Okay. For math, you can write to the math instructors. Okay. And yeah. So it was very unfortunate that I picked that PDF to discuss. But yeah, some lessons we learned, that how to change the wrong code, right? That is also something to learn. Anyways, these questions that were wrong were from weeks 3 and 4, and 3 and 4 will again be discussed on Thursday. Okay, so no issue. And those of you who have issue in week 5, please mail me the doubts. Okay, I'll answer.
Okay,
Where you posted your PDF
In the
link?
chat,
Is it
in the chat. Yeah. All
Okay.
of it is in the chat. All right, I have to leave now, everyone. Thank you for joining. Please
Ma'am,
have a great exam.
Ma'am, please make sure that today recorded video links are uploaded because.
Yeah. I will
Thank you.
ask.
Thank you.
Ma'am, the week 1 summary is not opening. It is showing that word found unreadable content in week 1 summary.
Ma'am, don't quit the class. It will be disappear the link and the PDF, ma'am.
Please just do one thing. Send me a mail. Okay. Whoever needs the week 1 summary, send me a mail. I will answer the mail with the PDF. I'll send you the PDF. Okay.
Okay,
If you
ma'am.
need that PDF, just send me a mail. I'll give everyone the PDF there because right now I don't have any more time. I have to leave.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the best for your exam.